everybody. Dan Illman, Mike Beer, the DRF race of the day for Wednesday, January the 18th. Race number 8 at Gulfstream Park. We're going 5/8 of a mile on the turf for fillies and mares. It's a high-level allowance race with a 62,500 claiming option. Let's take a look at this field. Please scan the QR code for Race of the Day access on mobile. Mike, the number 5, One Identity, your tepid 3-1 morning line favorite. And I get it. She's in very sharp form, but she's also never raced on the turf. And that's a great unknown for a horse that's a short price on the morning line.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I guess if you're going to take her as at least one of the favorites in here, Dan, you're going to hope that she's as good on turf as she is on the Tapeta and as she is on dirt. She's good on both of those other surfaces. She has some turf pedigree going for her as well, and she's 2 for 2 off the claim, coming off the best race of her life.
Let's see where our friends at Timeform US have her on the Timeform US pace projector, and they expect One Identity to be relatively close to the lead, but I do agree with Timeform US that if the 6 Love and Money gets out of the gate with alacrity, I think she's going to be in front, and I think she'll be chased by the 9 Trained to Artemis. Love and Money showed fresh speed off the layoff last time out with a really good looking effort.
Yeah, true enough. I mean, I agree with that pace projector. The more I looked at the race, the more I just felt like the 6 is the fastest horse in this race. And if she breaks, she's supposed to be in front.
The number 1 is Making My Move, a horse that would appreciate a little bit of pace up front, coming off a little bit of a layoff for John Kimmel. Jose Ortiz takes the mount at 6-1 on the morning line. She looked good, winning a couple of races against New York breds over the summer, but she got a big stakes victory in this race at the Meadowlands last time out against fellow 3-year-old fillies in the Honeybee. Making My Move got some pace in this race. They went the first quarter in 22 and change. Making My Move swings to the outside, and she's going to get up late. Just don't usually love the competition at the Meadowlands. I still think Making My Move has some things to prove.
Yeah, that's probably true. I'm with you. I don't think she beats a great field here in becoming a stakes winner. On the other hand, she won that race really, really easily, I thought, off of a good trip. And I do like her running style for this race because she's not going to be part of this pace, but she shouldn't be too far away either. If I'm being honest, Dan, I wasn't in love with her last year in New York, but I still thought she showed some potential. And I think she fits pretty well in this field.
The number 2, Admiral Hopper, is a homebred mare, and the Seltzers like to give their horses time, and it seems like that time has been, and patience have been rewarded with the 2 Admiral Hopper. She returned off a year-plus layoff. She's won 2 of her 3 starts, and here is her most recent start, a first-level allowance over the Tapeta surface at Gulfstream Park, going 5/8 of a mile. And Mike, they turn into the stretch. She has some work to do, but there's a big hole for her to split.
Yeah, a really good trip that worked out very well for her here. Listen, sometimes when you have the tactical speed that a horse like Admiral Hopper has, you're going to wind up in positions like that. Everything just worked out really well for her because she was in a great spot all the way around the track, and she prevailed. I like the way she's headed. I do feel like she's sort of taking steps forward with every start out there, and maybe she can take another one here, Dan, but against this field, she better.
Thoughts on her turf pedigree? Her sire Field Commission 8% winners with turf sprinters, but you see that stormy Atlantic on the bottom, and that always seems to give you hope.
Yeah, true enough. I mean, I don't love her pedigree for the grass here, Dan, mostly because of the sire, I guess. I suppose there's enough that if you liked what you've seen from her, you could just stick with her here at a pretty good price, but I wanted other horses.
Slot Queen is up next, and she's returning off of a June layoff for trainer Tom Proctor. She last was seen in a dirt stakes race, but will go one race back to a start on the Tapeta surface back in May. Let's watch Slot Queen's effort this day, and she looked pretty good on the Tapeta. It's a first-level allowance race for fellow 3-year-old fillies. She beat a couple of next-out winners. The 4th-place horse came back to win for $75,000 with an 85 buyer on dirt, and I do like this filly's turf pedigree.
Yeah, I agree with you. I really liked that win from her that we just watched. I thought she ran really well there, and I thought she took a pretty big step forward off of a maiden win on the dirt. And then I guess something maybe just went wrong in that stakes race the last time we saw her. It's been a long time since she's run, but I think she might be pretty good. She, as you've already mentioned, she's wicked bred for turf. And to me, I just felt like she was the most interesting long shot in the race.
The number 4 is Ambassador Luna. She was a stakes winner sprinting on turf at Churchill Downs in 2020, and then she was grade 3 placed over boggy turf at Keeneland in 2021. Now, last year was a little bit tough for Ambassador Luna, only one win from 6 starts, that over the Turfway Park Poly track. She's back on turf here. I wonder if she's getting a little bit long in the tooth at age 7, but you have to respect her back class.
Yeah, exactly. And especially if she's going to be around that morning line, then I guess you could just sort of keep the faith and hope that she turns up and finds one of her good races here. You know, she's hard to like off what she's been doing the last couple of years, Dan. 1 for 13 over the last 2 years. That lone win at Turfway when she was in for the tag on the all weather surface. Her only win the year prior to that in a race that was rained off the grass. I still feel like she's a better turf horse. I just wonder where she's at, as far as form goes.
Our morning line favorites up next, the 5-1 Identity for Paco Lopez. If you believe that good Tapeta form could successfully translate to turf, well, she's 3 for 3 on a synthetic surface in her career, including this race, when she was entered in a $50,000 starter optional. It's not a big field, and One Identity got right up close to the pace, and she's going to dig down deep to win. This was a game performance. She's earned strong figures. Her dam won on turf, and she has a sibling that's won on turf.
Yeah, I mean, there is turf pedigree on the bottom here. I believe this is the female family of Precious Passion, who wanted to go, 2 miles, but was a multiple grade 1 winner. There's turf here, and she is in good form. Again, I don't think I would be betting this horse as the favorite. She did run really well to win last time. She, took a pretty big step forward there. The runner-up also took a huge step forward there. So I'm, a little skeptical about the figure they earned. But boy, they put some distance on the rest of that field.
Up next is the expected pace setter on our Timeform US pace projector, the 6, Love and Money, Cherie DeVoe, Tyler Gaffalione, and this mare ran quite well last time out. Let's consider that this last race was her first start off about a year layoff, and she went to the front, and she stays on very gamely to finish second. In all likelihood, she needed this race, and in all likelihood, she's a better horse on turf than on Tapeta.
Yeah, that's what I would think. I mean, there's no real reason to think that she's as good on this all weather surface as she is on the grass stand. And I thought she ran well there. She took a lot of pressure on the lead. One of the horses, by the way, who was pressing her was the 3-5 favorite, and she finished last. And this horse held on for second. And just going back and looking at her turf races, I mean, you have to go back to her 3-year-old campaign, but man, did she look pretty good. I remember really liking her debut. She ran great in her second start when they tried to stretch her out. And, anybody can go back and watch that Keeneland race, that October 2021, when they cut her back. She just absolutely buried that field on a big lead. If she comes back and she's still as good as she was at 3, she's going to be tough in here.
Might be a down the road speed show under Tyler. She's 4-1 on the morning line. Go Shoes is hoping somebody, anybody, can go with Love and Money early because she likes to rally from off the pace as she did 2 starts back when entered for the $62,000 500 tag for Mike Maker. That was a race in which he sort of sat in the second flight, came with a 3-4 wide bid, and grinded down the favorite on the lead. She didn't run as well against stakes horses in her subsequent try. She seems to fit well at this distance. I do have a concern, though. Her wins have come 5.5, 6 furlongs. I wonder if 5/8 is going to be a little sharp.
I was a little worried about that too. And I'm also just, at least a little worried, Dan, that she's a little bit inconsistent. You don't always get her best race, but I won't argue with anyone who tells me that if she does run her good race, that she can go with these horses. She's not going to be up there on the lead, but she's not a slow horse early, Dan. So I didn't really feel like she had to get totally outrun in here. And she's another one who might be a fair price.
Constitution Gal is the number 8, and I really think she's going to appreciate switching surfaces back to turf. She last ran at Gulfstream Park. That was on a synthetic track, however, and she just sort of was one-paced around. Her prior start at Woodbine for trainer Mark Casse, she was a lot closer to the pace. Now, the pace was a lot slower, but she sprinted on home to win at 6.5 furlongs. Similar questions as I have with Go Shoes. Maybe 5/8 is a little bit sharp for Constitution Gal, but she's lightly raced enough that it's possible we haven't seen her best.
Right. I don't disagree with any of that stuff. I'm worried about this shorter distance for her. The 2 wins have come going. 7 furlongs when she was able to make the lead, and 6.5 when she was right up close to slower paces in both of those races. I mean, I guess she ran fine going this distance last time, but the pace was there for her against Love and Money, and she never really made an impact.
While I usually don't love the outside posts in these short sprints at Gulfstream Park, the number 9, Trained to Artemis, does appear to have enough speed where she can get right up close to the pace without losing too much ground on the turn. Here's her most recent start on the Tapeta surface, a first level allowance on December the 18th, where she stayed close to the pace, and when it counts, she goes right by the leader. Most importantly, while this race was on Tapeta, she might be even better on turf. She's won her last 3 starts on turf, and her good speed puts her in the mix when the real racing commences.
Exactly. We'll see what I would wait and see what kind of price she was, Dan, because I don't know that I would want too short a price on her, but I don't think she's overmatched in this field. I know that there are, a couple of those turf wins have come against claiming horses, but I don't know. I thought she ran well in those races. I felt like she handled the step up in class after that. She's going to be pretty close to this pace in here. I think she's a contender. I'd wait and see what kind of price she was.
Before we get to our top selections, please click the subscribe button on the Daily Racing Form YouTube channel for the latest DRF videos. Top pick time for our Wednesday race of the day. It's the 8th race at Gulfstream Park. And Mike, Love and Money should move forward off her last race. That first start off an extremely long layoff, and she's the controlling speed. She might be the best horse anyway.
Yeah, all those things. That's how I looked at it, Dan. And I just sort of felt like she was the horse that I really wanted in here, especially if that morning line is right. I mean, anywhere around that 3 to 4 to 1 range, I'll be betting this horse in here and just hoping that she shows up with her good start. The 3 slot queen is the long shot for me. I'm using that horse.
I do think the 5 has enough turf pedigree where she's going to handle the surface, and she's sharp right now. She just seems a little bit low on the morning line for me. I'm hoping this pace heats up. I think Go-Go Shoes will come with a run. There is a concern that this distance will be short and she'll run out of time. 6-3-9-1 for Mike, 7-5-4-6 for me. It's the Wednesday race of the day, the Ocho at Gulfstream Park. Good luck.